Alrighty. Once again, what is up, my fellow patriots? How y'all doing out there in America? Land of the free, home of the brave. Back here with another video. Today I just kind of wanted to follow up on a previous video I did concerning the old J6 nonsense. Just the double standards, the hypocrisy, and the lies are just too much. And the normies out there only know what they were told by Rachel Maddow and CNN and a bunch of lefty idiots. And that's all they know because they have no critical thinking skills. But what had really happened? Well, I don't know. I was going to show you some clips. And so sit back and enjoy. And let's start with this one right here.
We've played a million times.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful, no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you.
Yeah, so according to
So you seen that, you heard that, right? So that's what they said, that Trump was inspiring an insurrection. He commanded his followers. Yeah, no, that ain't what happened. Again, yeah, let's move on to another one here. This one I'm going to show you who was really violent. Check this out. I want you to keep your focus over here. There's a cop up in here. And wait and see what they do.
I'm ashamed of you. I'm ashamed of you.
Did you catch that? Here, let's go back in case you didn't. You see this? That's a grandma on the street, on the thing, on the steps. That's a grandma. Patriotic grandma shoved by one of these cop dudes.
Ashamed of you. Ashamed of you.
You see that?
Ashamed of you.
Yeah, you saw that, right? Do you see how the cops were treating the Trump supporters? Just shoved her. Old lady. Doesn't care. Like she was any threat to anybody. Anyway, let's move on. Here. And let's check this one.
Antifa was disguised as Trump supporters today.
Yeah.
So Antifa wasn't walking around like they typically are, all dressed in black with their anti-fascist symbolism and their shield. Like they were disguised as Trump people. And they were the ones who really led the charge into the Capitol building.
He had seen Antifa at Trump rallies before and identified tactics he felt exposed their presence.
They were the ones smashing the windows and smashing on the doors and getting it into it with police. And so they were the instigators, like they typically are. Like that's how they operate. And so they were trying to bait the Trump supporters into kind of following their lead and retaliating and letting a lot of their frustration.
So you see this, right? This is this guy's experience. Antifa and even the Capitol Hill Police and some undercover FBI's asshole are the ones that popped the whole thing off. They started the whole thing. It was a setup from day one. And here, you'll see some of it.
Pundits, politicians, and the FBI denied Antifa had a role.
Do you have any evidence that the Capitol attack was organized by, quote, fake Trump protesters?
We have not seen evidence of that at this stage, certainly.
What a liar. The director of the FBI sitting there lying to you.
They look like Antifa.
But Matthew wasn't the only eyewitness who called out signs of trained instigators.
These are people that love the cops. We love the police. But a few Antifa dressed up as Trump supporters have been causing violence and stirring up violence here at the Capitol steps. And they're playing on the emotions of you and every patriotic American. This is not right.
For years, Trump supporters had been confronted by Antifa at many of their rallies. The menacing all-black uniforms, masked faces, and violent clashes a constant threat from the moment President Trump was elected.
Yep. So, this is what they like to show you, right? Now, you got to understand, do you see how big this building is? It is huge. So it has 4 sides to it. There was only a riot on one side, just one side.
So when masked men started smashing windows,
you see that?
Protesters objected and stepped in to stop them, taking out this man first, then tackling another who'd stepped in to finish the job, while the crowd chanted. Time and again, protesters reacted with the same thought as Matthew Perna. And there were other indicators. In this footage from January 6, a plainclothes officer from the Metropolitan Police Department, badge briefly visible, was captured talking to a Capitol Police officer and told him,
"Well, we go undercover as Antifa in a crowd, so can you put that back in?"
And about 2 miles.
So you're seeing that, right? Even the cops were undercover dressed as Antifa to go and start shit. This is all made up. It's all bullshit. It always has been bullshit. It was Nancy Pelosi and her ilk that did this to frame Donald Trump, try to outlaw him and his supporters. And pretty much this is what the Trump supporters did. So let me show you this one here. This is a really good one. I love it. And I'm just going to let the whole thing play through. I mean, just look at all those violent Trump supporters. Hey, look at them all. Yeah. Again, total bullshit. And this one really, really sums it up. If you haven't seen this one yet, you're in for a treat. Check this.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the U.S. Capitol building. If you've joined us today for the insurrection, please make sure you pick up a promotional leaflet on the way in, stay inside the safety cordons at all times, and if you get lost, speak to one of our Capitol Police officers. They'll be sure to point you in the right direction.
Look at all those violent Trump supporters walking between the velvet ropes.
And be sure to set aside a little time today to join us for some insurrection activities, including our photography tour, our fancy dress competition, and have a go on our climbing wall. But don't forget those safety ropes. And I've now received the results of our fancy dress competition. The winner today is Jacob Chansley. That's Mr. Jacob Chansley. Yeah. If you could report to your nearest Capitol Police officer, they'll be sure to give you your prize, a guided tour of the building.
Yeah, the face of the insurrection. This guy right here.
And all that's left is for me to thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the insurrection. Wherever possible, please try to clean up after yourselves. Don't forget to visit the souvenir shop on the way out. And feel free to join us on the outdoor terrace for Nancy Pelosi's Insurrection Soiree. Grab yourself a light refreshment and enjoy the music of our very own fancy dress competition winner.
Right? It was like a tour. It's all been a setup. It's always been a setup. Here is you can check this out too. This is another little clip here showing the messed up actions of some of these cops here.
They're gonna lock us in.
See? There's the cops right there, watching them all walk in. They're not stopping them. They're not telling them you can't come in. They're not telling them to go away. Nothing. Why? Because it was a setup. Everybody that could get to walk into the Capitol after the police opened the doors and waved them in was able to be charged with, I don't know. Nobody was charged with an insurrection, by the way. I mean, y'all probably know that, right? There's not been one single charge of insurrection brought against anybody that's been caught up in this January 6th nonsense, right? Now, so they tell us just the fact that you walked into the Capitol building makes you an insurrectionist. Really? Well, what about what about this? Let's check this here for a minute. And I would like to know what you think about this in the comments below, but check it out.
All right, let's take you back out live to that breaking news from Capitol Hill. These are our live pictures there from outside the Cannon House building, and you can see there a steady group of protesters, Capitol Police on bikes as well, trying to keep some of those protesters from outside the congressional building, and that's because protests are not allowed inside those congressional buildings, which is what we are seeing, protesters inside the Cannon Building Rotunda. And you can see there.
Now, you see this, right? Ceasefire. Jews say never again. Let Gaza live. From the river to the sea nonsense, right? They're all up in here. But I thought you're not allowed to protest inside the Capitol, and that makes you an insurrectionist. How many of these people you think have been charged with insurrection? They did make a couple arrests, but they let them out the next day, and there's no more charges coming to them. Why? Isn't this an insurrection from what they told us?
That say ceasefire. Capitol Police around that group of protesters, and Capitol Police has said that they are in effect making arrests. Now, unclear if this entire group will be arrested or cited, but right now we do have reporters on the ground who will give us a better sense of what exactly is happening. But you can see a lot of them are sitting down, and this is not uncommon for protests on Capitol Hill. A lot of times they are cited, they are taken.
Wait! This is not uncommon for protests on Capitol Hill? Wow. And now, do you think that the FBI is going to spend millions and millions of dollars trying to track down any of these people and go get them and extradite them back to D.C.? No, they won't. But here's another one. It just keeps going and going.
Has been unfolding there at the Capitol, and how do things seem now?
Yeah, well, just to be clear and to put this in perspective, this is something that is occurring in the Cannon House building, which is a little bit away from where we are. We are still here in the Capitol, but the Cannon building is one of several House office buildings that members use. We do understand a short time ago that has been closed down to visitors. And
by the way, this is a total separate protest. This is not even the same one that you saw before. So, yeah. It's okay if you're a lefty and you're pro-terrorist, all right? You're a pro-terrorist protester. Outside, they're waving all the Palestinian flags and all this nonsense. And, yeah, nothing happens to these people. But Trump and any of MAGA supporters, complete insurrectionists. They need to be locked up, in some cases, for 20-plus years. It's bullshit. It's double standards. And if we don't take our country back, this will happen to everybody, including you. And I don't care if you're a lefty or you're the most patriotic person on the planet. They're going to come after you. The lefties will go down first because they got no guns and they don't fight. But we have to stop communism, man. Vote Trump. Trump 2024 is the only way to save our country. Until next time, ace.